Podcast. I'm Chris Grimm, joined by my boys Dark Dragon, David, and his brother Pat. What's going on, fellas?
What's up? Not much. Just chilling.
So we got kind of a fun one tonight. It's been something we've been planning for at least about a year and a half. Honestly, it's gonna probably be a multi-podcast because it's just there's so much that we've done. Going from our youth all the way up to adulthood when it comes to concerts, and that's been usually everyone's favorite topic to talk about these days is concerts and shit. In fact, me and David, we literally just went to a concert, what was it, about a week or two ago, Dave?
Yeah, a week or two ago.
Yeah, it was Chaos and Carnage tour. And it was such a fucking blast. I still haven't been able to shut up about it. I know in the last update video I did, I kind of touched base on it, but I still am bragging about that concert because it was just so much fun. It was the first time that I went with some friends. Usually I go alone, but Dave's getting a kick back in the concert. Yogi Boy's been getting a kick in the concert, so it's just been a lot of fun.
I can tell based on the group text.
Oh yeah, dude. It was just I almost didn't even want that night to end in the concerts just because we were having so much fun. But man, we were limping out of there by the end of the show. My shoulder was torn up, my foot was torn up. I was just done. I just wanted to get home as soon as I could. But as much as I had a blast. And then everyone's always it's like a brotherhood there. As soon as we got out, we couldn't leave right away because these guys invited us to have a beer, an after beer with them. So we just sat around, chilled out, and hung out with them for a while. Man, like I said, that night was just wild. So one of the many nights of crazy shit we've done going forward. Like I said, me and Dave have friendship for over 30 years, so we have a lot of experiences together. So, starting from, before we get into the whole stories, shit, man, we got quite a bit of a lineup going on right now. So our next upcoming concert we're going to is the 10 years tour in August 3rd, I believe it is. I don't remember who exactly they're coming. For some reason I can't pull up their flyer, but 10 years has been a band, even though despite us being metalheads, we've also had a kind of a soft spot for alternative bands, and 10 years just hits so differently. If you guys haven't checked out 10 years, you're missing out. They are amazing artists. And
that's true about a lot of things.
Well, 10 years, dude, it's one of those bands you can literally sleep to. Their music is so calming, so emotional. It just takes you into a whole new astral plane when you're just listening to them. So I definitely recommend checking them out. And we saw them, the first time we ever saw them was on the actual See You on the Other Side tour back in 2006. So we saw 10 years the first time back in 2006. It was me, Dave, and two of our other friends. And we were going there it was 10 years. It was fucking Mudvayne and Korn. Oh my gosh. Me and Dave still talk about that concert to this day. That concert was amazing. It was breathtaking. It was everything you wanted to be, electrifying, you name it. That concert had everything. So that was the first time we saw 10 years there, and ever since then I became a huge fan. Dave touched base on the band here and there, but I've gone to so many 10 year shows I can't even keep count anymore, just because Jesse Hayek, the lead singer, man, he's such an awesome person, just such an awesome dude. Even though despite they offer VIP, they will still come out after the VIP session and come meet everybody just because they're that type of guys. So definitely check out 10 years. We're planning, like I said, going and checking them out in August. And that one's kind of more of a chill show. No one's going to be moshing. No one's going to be doing any crazy shit. You're just going to go there for experience. But still a fun concert experience we're going to have once we get there. Right, Dave?
Yeah, that's right.
The next Rowdy show we're going to be going to, and this one is one for the fucking books, is we have I get kind of emotional every time I talk about this. Since 2008, almost 13 years, we will finally be seeing the return of Mudvayne. And you guys already know on my channel how much these guys mean to me. I couldn't believe the day that they got announced. I had some tears in my eyes because I've been waiting for them since 2008. In fact, I went with Dave the last time they came at the 2008. They were the headliners, and they Go figure. They were touring with 10 Years and a band called Snot. And it was at the Albuquerque Convention Center. That show was amazing. Me and Dave had such a blast. And it kind of sucked because they had a VIP thing, and me and him tried scrounging out of our pockets, and we just were just shy like $20 to meet the band. It was so stupid, but we didn't. Yeah, but the crazy thing is, dude, we didn't expect them to go on a crazy hiatus. Mudvayne just after that tour, they came out, they dropped one more album, and then all of a sudden just went away. And they've been gone for, like I said, almost 13 years. I might be off on my math. It's either 12 to 13 years. I just can't remember off the top of my head. All I know is they've been gone a long fucking time.
Since high school.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Mudvayne fan. I have 3 Mudvayne tattoos, all their albums. I've met Chad Gray, but it was during his Hell Yeah runs. So, super ecstatic. They're going to be touring actually on the Rob Zombie, what is it called? The Freaks in Parade, I think it's called. Yeah, Freaks in Parade. It's Rob Zombie, Mudvayne, Static X, and Power Man 5000. That is straight up fucking new metal 2000s fucking tour, dude. It's almost like we're going back in time for that one, and that show's gonna be so much fun. I've never seen Power Man 5000. I know Dave has back in shit. That was for Project Revolution, wasn't it, Dave? You saw Power Man 5000 with Linkin Park and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh shit, that's a fire show,
dude. That I remember that because he used to have the poster up on his room back when we were kids.
How many times do you see Linkin Park, Korn, Snoop Dogg, The Used? I think Power Man 5000.
Yeah, and then
no, definitely that sounds like a fire show.
And then obviously I've never seen Static X live, shamefully, but they're coming and touring, so that's gonna be a fun one. That one is, when is it? I think it's August 23rd. Oh, I'm sorry, August 16th. That, like I said, I cannot wait for that show. The return of Mudvayne. Rob Zombie is always kind of fun to watch. He's getting a little older, so his vocals aren't there, but it's a show band. It's still fun.
Right.
Then, like literally, like last week, and this is what's crazy. So last week we get announced Lamb of God returning back from last year, and I know I talked a lot on my TikTok about the Lamb of God and Hatebreed with Megadeth. This one's gonna be Lamb of God with Killswitch Engage, and I don't remember who we're getting, but they're doing like a bunch of different bands there, but like depending on the dates is who's going to be there. Let me see.
Just Google this real quick.
Well, I have the flyer pulled up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Fit for, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Fit for an Autopsy. Yeah, we're getting them, which kind of sucks because all these other fucking dates, some of the dates, Dave, they're getting Suicide Silence. Some of the other dates are getting Motionless in White. So it kind of sucks. I've never heard of these bands, so excuse me if I'm talking down on them. I don't mean to, but I've never heard of them. So of course, I'd rather go with 2 bands I'm more familiar with. But, despite that, I'm mainly going for Killswitch Engage and Lamb of God either way. Again, another rowdy show we're going to be at. We're going to get pit tickets. That one's going to be a fucking fun one. I can tell you now.
You know what?
Lamb of God.
You know what?
What's up?
I was just going to say, it's a good way to find new bands, too, though, sometimes.
You're totally right.
I wouldn't have gotten into Dragon Force if it weren't for Ozfest 04.
No, you're totally right. So, I mean, I could like them. I'll probably check them out, but as the tour gets closer, I might even check them out tomorrow when I'm at the gym. But, like I said, I mainly... Killswitch Engage came last year with Slipknot. The concert was alright. I was actually more happy about Killswitch Engage than... I don't know why. Slipknot just didn't do it for me that night. I don't know. I just wasn't... maybe I was just me, but either way, Killswitch Engage will be there. They're always a fun live. Lamb of God with Hatebreed, I swear that was like my favorite tour when that happened. It was Lamb of God, Hatebreed, and Megadeth. Had such a blaster in it, Hatebreed. I actually got to meet all the guys there, and then Lamb of God came out and just stole the show, of course. So they'll be here, I believe, like I said, October 17th. They're going to be here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That one's going to be a fun one. And then today, the mother of them all, and I know I kind of talk bad about them, but I'm going to be going to this one either way because I'm a huge fan. And it's kind of reminiscing for me. So, Slipknot just announced they will be touring on a small branch of tours, and Albuquerque's one of them listed. They'll be coming October 3rd. Like I said, the last show I wasn't too impressed with. Maybe it was just like, there's some stuff happening
Right
at there.
mindset or
Well, no, it
something.
was the mindset plus. There's three things. One, it's the realization your favorite band is kind of a sellout, and I will say that just because the way that they perform now, you're selling out at that point. Two, didn't have a good time because of like the crowd there was just bugging the shit out of me. They were acting fucking idiocy. It was just like like just one of those annoying nights. So it's just a bad experience overall.
Yeah.
So like this time, I'll go back in with an open mind. I won't sit there and be like, ugh, it's the same Slipknot show. Obviously, I'm still a huge fan because I'm going, but that's something I got to get over. But either way, and why I say it's reminiscent because this is the first time in my whole time being a metalhead that I finally get to see Mudvayne and Slipknot take stage at not the same time, but at least in the same year, and that's never happened to me. The closest I got to that was back in the first Mayhem Fest of 2008. Mudvayne was actually the scheduled original headliner. It was supposed to be Mudvayne, Disturbed, and Slipknot. That is a triple decker for me because I'm a huge fan of all three of those bands.
Yep.
However, Mudvayne had to drop out because of prior commitments of Hell Yeah. They were still recording, I think, their second album, Stampede. So they dropped out. I was super pissed. They replaced them with, I believe, Dragon Force, which everyone was okay with, but I'd rather have Mudvayne. But either way, this is the first year we're going to get that. Everything's been stacked so far. I mean, this year has just been a blast of shows. I went to All That Remains with Miss May I. Then, like I say, Chaos Carnage Tour. The only downside by Chaos Carnage Tour was it was supposed to be, we were there for Carnifex, Suicide Silence, Lorna Shore, and Upon a Burning Body. But Upon a Burning Body fucking canceled, and the worst part is they didn't tell anyone. That really pissed me off. That left a sour taste. I'm kind of like being a troll on their pages, kind of giving them shit for that, because it's like, I hate when bands do that shit. Like, man up, say why you dropped out, because you don't realize how many fans were actually in that crowd there for Upon a Burning Body, and they were all disappointed because they didn't get to see them take stage.
Right.
But whatever.
I feel that.
Oh well.
I feel that pain.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming this year, and I'm just, this has probably been one of the best concert years I've had since 2012, I'd say. So it's, damn, that's crazy to say that out loud. 2012 was already 10 years ago. That is wild.
10 years since then. God damn.
Yeah. So, I can't wait though. It's gonna be a lot of fun. This time I'm gonna let loose. I'm gonna have fun and go out there and be myself. So going now, we're gonna jump into some fun ones. Let's just go ahead and talk about Chaos and Carnage because I know I can't shut up about it. Maybe not after tonight. I can finally leave it at the door. So Chaos and Carnage tour happens, and we're it's really me, Yogi Boy, and David. We're driving around. We're hustling down there as fast as we could because they opened the doors early for some weird reason. Originally, the doors were supposed to open at 6 o'clock, and they opened them at 5 o'clock, so we're kind of rushing down there. We get there, and we freaking... oh, shit. We slammed down quite a bit of Jägermeister in celebration for the first time doing... being there as boys, going back to a concert, and also David's getting married, and there's no way I wasn't going to do a shot with my best friend. So, cheers. Yeah, Jaeger bombs. That is easily my liquid of choice, dude. Everyone always gags whenever I say, yeah. They're like, oh, what's your drink, Jaeger bomb? They're like, ugh. I'm like, fuck you. I fucking love Jaeger bombs, dude. I can drink that shit. Like, Nick. How much I can get into drinking Jaeger. So
I was there the first time you ever got really drunk.
I
remember that night.
Yeah, let's leave that at the door though. Yeah. So we go in there. We're feeling good. We're feeling loose, and right away, it's funny because when we were on our way down there, Yogi Boy's like, "Oh, I'm probably not gonna do much. Just gonna stand around, probably just chill. Enjoy the show." I'm like, "Yeah, fucking right." As soon as we walk in there, he's the first fucking guy that jumps in a pit. Jumping around, already like being a wild animal.
Pit mode immediately.
Yeah, me and David still were like kind of feeling the crowd out, and then it kicked in. During the show, I don't remember who the other two bands are. I really can't remember. They were all right. They definitely felt like they belonged in that show, so it was kind of cool to see that. And like I said, there were more warm ups. During that time, we tried to go through. This is where we found out that Upon a Burning Body wasn't going to play because we went to the merch booth stands and we were looking for merchandise.
And they weren't there.
Dude, yeah, they weren't there. We saw everyone else. So we went up. We saw this badass Skeletor Carnifex shirt that we all wanted. And it was, yeah, it's like, what the fuck did it say? Oh, I don't like to feel good. I like to feel evil. And it's him laughing in the back.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
we get up there and we asked the lady, I'm like, excuse me, I know you're not, in charge of the booths of all, but where the hell's the Upon a Burning Body? She told me that they fucking canceled because she's actually one of the, usually the merch booths are like the managers or the tour managers. She said that the Upon a Burning Body had bailed out because they got sick in Houston. And I was like, what the fuck? Why couldn't they say that to anybody?
Right? Why didn't they tell anybody?
I'm a little pissed off.
Everybody will understand. You got sick. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a little pissed off. Dave's trying to cheer me up, and then we're going back in the crowd, and there are literally hot chicks everywhere in that place. So how can I not crack a smile? I'm like, you know what? I'm home. I'm at a badass show. There's beautiful women everywhere. We're feeling a little buzz. We're having a good time. Let's fuck it. Fuck Upon a Burning Body at the moment. So at that point, Lorna Shore comes out, and they put up such a badass set list. Yeah, that one was wild. I don't know enough about Lorna Shore to really talk a lot about them, but I can tell you that they did put up a hell of a show. That dude's screaming vocals is literally top S tier fucking screaming. I definitely got to give it up to him for that one. By then, I think at this point, Yogi was just having a blast because I was one of his favorite bands at the time. So then they end their set list. We're chilling. It's hot as fuck in there. So I finally ditched the shirt. I'm trying to cool off. We all go upstairs to go grab a drink. We're chilling. We're catching up with some people we just ran into there. And then finally, Carnifex comes out. That was the band I think we all had the most fun on because the pits were giant. They were rowdy. They were fun. They did a Slipknot cover, which was the biggest pit. And that was the time I renowned my crown as King of the Pit. And I'll explain that in another video what King of the Pit is here in Albuquerque. But it's a lot of fun to be one. So that thing was wild. Fucking Dave. The funny thing, I didn't expect Dave to jump in these. And he fucking did. He jumped straight in that bitch. And he fucking fell because some idiot decided it'd be a good idea to throw water in there. And it and the floors are like wooden, like slick floors already. So having water on it didn't help. So everyone was falling. So Dave fell. So I jumped straight in that bitch, grabbed Dave up, and we're hooked on arm to arm, just doing a fucking circle pit, screaming as they're playing the Heretic anthem. Oh my gosh, dude. It was so much fun. And
first pit I ever went into, I fucking fell.
I think it happens to all of us.
Right.
Yeah, that was.
Yanked me out of there.
I got hit. I got
like,
hit by somebody.
I
don't know why. I decided to wear my glasses into the pit, and somebody hits me, dude, and my glasses fly off me, and I was like, I'm never gonna see him again. I just accepted it, and then a couple minutes later, a guy walked to me and was, "Oh, here."
Yeah, everyone's so cool like that, dude.
Like,
dude,
cool.
You know what sucks for Yogi? Remember when he dropped his earrings? Well, someone found his other one that he was missing, and then the other, literally, as soon as he puts that one in, the other one goes flying off, and we couldn't find that one.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sucked, dude. Even the security was trying to help us find it afterwards, but no luck. But, at that same show, I got kind of pissed because, I'm sitting there on the edge of the pit, and everyone's pushing, shoving, or whatever. This fucking guy literally runs up to me, hits me right in the nuts, okay? So it hits me right in the fucking nuts. I'm sitting there, oh, you motherfucker, dude. Oh, I was pissed. I'm like, all right, bitch. And I had my eyes just locked on him like a fucking football player, dude. I'm ready there sitting there like fucking Goldberg, ready to spear this bitch. As soon as I got a clear shot, boom! Shoulder pressed him, dude. Hit him hard, dude. It was like, I'm 265 pounds, and I'm 6 foot. So I'm a pretty big guy. This guy was a scrawny little fucker.
Wrestle too.
We used
to backyard wrestle too.
So this little scrawny fucker thought he was funny doing that shit to me. So I hit him once, knocked the wind out of him, and then I see him another. Boom! Here comes another one. Hit him again, dude. After that, he came crawling out, apologized to me. He's like, "Dude, I'm so sorry. I knew what I did was wrong. I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Dude, fucking do it again and see what happens." "We won't do it, bro." He walks away. You just hear him go.
At least he realized what he did.
I was like, dude, don't fucking be an idiot like that. There's no need for that. There's no need for that. Yeah, so
talk shit, get hit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do
Well, not even
shit,
talk shit. He
hit.
hit me in the balls, dude. Like, who fucking does that,
That
shit?
too.
No, no,
He
that don't
was
fly
like,
with
I
me.
thought I was funny. He's like, I thought I was real
No,
funny.
you do that shit, I'm gonna go get
No.
payback. I promise you, I will get the fucking payback I deserve.
Oh yeah, I mean, we never even thought about doing that during backyard wrestling.
No.
And we were being stupid.
So, then after that was probably one of the. I'd say Carnifex is probably my favorite of the technically the four they were there for. Carnifex stole the show, in my opinion. They were such a blast. And the thing is, I didn't really get to see them perform because I was doing shit. I was jumping up and down. I was fucking headbanging. I was moshing. I was just moving the whole time.
They were the ones who did the tributes. They did a tribute to Black Dahlia murder.
Oh,
and
I
they
forgot,
did
yeah.
a tribute to Slipknot.
Yep. They're them, dude. They were the best,
That
though.
was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I get out of the pit, and I'm just fucking soaked in fucking sweat at that point, just because it was so fucking hot in there. And I was like, damn, I didn't even have to go to the gym because it was so fucking hot in that place, dude. You feel like you're just in a marathon when you're just moshing the whole goddamn night. And then Suicide Silence comes out. By that time, you took off, didn't you, Dave?
Yeah, I stayed for a few.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I had drinking so much. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he went to go grab some food to sober up a bit, and then me and Yogi Boy stayed behind. We actually met some really cool people that we just wound up potting up with, and Suicide Silence, I didn't mosh too much just because, like, I think at that point I was a little burned out, and my foot was really, really screaming at me at that point. So I was like, it's probably better I just don't fucking do it. Well, yeah, dude, because
it's time to not push it any further.
Yeah, Suicide Silence definitely did a badass show. They were a lot of fun. Yogi Boy enjoyed them a lot more than he thought he was going to. The end of the night, we come out, we go meet up with Dave. And like I said, these guys wanted to hang out, grab beer, and this one dude came up to me. He's like, dude, you're so badass in the pit. I was like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, dude, you hit me right in the ribs. Like, oh, my bad, dude. I wasn't trying to hit anybody. He's like, nah, dude, you're like a fucking wrecking ball in there, dude. That shit was cool. I was like, well, I was in there bonding with these guys, and they're really cool people. And we realized, like I said, in the metal community, you tend to recognize each other, and you realize how many shows you actually go with a lot of these people. Every time I run into a show, there's at least 3 people I end up walking into, and they're like, "Oh, do you remember me? I was at Slipknot. Or remember me? I was at Hatebreed. Remember me? I was that guy that talked to you at Hell Yeah." Like, it's like a small world for us when it comes to metal.
Right.
Like I said, Chaos Carnage tour definitely so far was my favorite of the tours this year so far. I mean, I know I haven't been to too many yet, but man, I was so happy I saw the low ticket alert. Otherwise, I would have never known that tour was happening. So it was a lot of fun.
Right.
Going forward,
I could just tell off the text, like, fucking, like, damn. Kind of wish I had money. I would have gone.
Yeah, I think Pat would have enjoyed it too, because a lot of those bands were kind of up in your music alleyway, wouldn't you say, Pat?
Yeah, it sounds like it. Would have probably been a blast.
Oh, it was, dude. You would enjoy it, dude. That's why you got to come to these shows now with us. You'd have so much fun. Even if you don't mosh or run around, dude, you're still at the show enjoying it and listening to music and vibing, and while your friends are fucking being a bunch of fucktards in the pit.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We're sitting there at the car, and Yogi's just like fucking laying down on the car pretty much. I'm like, dude, get your ass up. He's like, bro, we're in our 30s. We can't do this shit anymore. I'm like, fuck you, dude. I feel like I'm still 20, bro. I can do this shit all night long. If my foot wasn't fucking killing me, I would have been moshing a lot more. But unfortunately, I hurt my ankle playing some flag football with my brothers, so I had to tape the shit out of it before we went in, just because I knew I was gonna get rowdy as soon as I walked in there. So,
like, I'm feeling like an old man all of a sudden.
yeah, and you know, the funny thing is, before we started this, we were kind of just talking some nonsense, and I just remembered Dragon had gone to a concert with me, semi-gone with me. We went to the Music as a Weapon 4. I want to say this was back in 2007. I think it was. It was 2000 because Disturbed had just dropped
a long time ago.
Yeah, Disturbed had just dropped what's it called? Indestructible album. And they were touring to promote the album. That show was pretty dope. The crazy thing about behind the scenes story kind of thing about that was I got there, I was having a rough time because I had just gotten yelled up on my, I had I was going through some shit with my parents back then, and my stepmom didn't want me to go to the show anymore, and at the same sense, I didn't feel good. Like I think I was coming down with something anyways, and so finally she just told me
2009.
it was 2009. Okay,
Yeah,
so
2009.
oh, you're right, because I do have the jersey, and I got it because it was the graduation year. My stepmom.
Oh yeah, that was a fucking good concert too.
Yeah, so my stepmom felt bad for me. She told me just go ahead and go. I'll even get you a ride down there, or I don't remember who gave me a ride actually, but I got down there, and I'm walking in. By the time I'm walking through the tunnel to get to the actual Coliseum, I'm feeling like shit. Like I felt like I was gonna throw up. My head was spinning. I had a massive headache, and I'm like, I can't fucking do this. It was the only pussy moment I had at a concert, and I was just like, man, I can't fucking do this. I get ready, I turn around, I start walking out. Literally, I run right into fucking Weasel, Dragon, and the Twins, which are some other friends of ours. And Matt's like, "Where the fuck you going?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm going home." And he's like, "Why the fuck you going home? Disturbed's over there." I was like, "Dude, I just don't feel good." And I was all, "Nick, you're here?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, fuck yeah. I got Brenda hooked us up with some tickets." I was like, "Oh shit, that's cool. I'll enjoy the show." And they all grabbed me like, "No, you're fucking staying, dude. You can't just
Right.
walk away." I'm
You're
like,
no way.
I was like, "I don't feel good." And he's like, "You
You're
can
the
do
biggest
it.
concert
You
ever
can
of
do it."
all.
I was like, "Fine, fine." So they fucking convinced me to stay, and I'm so glad they did because that was one of the
Yeah.
a badass show, dude. So
That
it was
one of the best Disturbed concerts I've ever been to.
yeah, it was Disturbed.
He came out on the floor. I actually got through the security and touched him.
Yeah, it was
Shit was sick.
it was Killswitch Engage with Disturbed. It was the first time we saw Killswitch Engage. In fact, it was the only time I got to see Killswitch with Howard Jones when he was the lead vocalist.
Dude,
Although my
Lieutenant
favorite
Boyle
vocalist,
was there, Chimera was there, Suicide Silence was there.
yeah, it was quite a stacked lineup, and
Like, it was a fucking good. I forgot Lacuna Coil actually ended with our fucking treatment.
yeah, it was yeah, they were all there, but I was mainly there for Disturbed. I started becoming a Killswitch Engage fan because one of my friends, she got me into it. And like I said, I watched Howard. He was badass live, but my favorite singer was Jesse Leach. So it's like,
Right.
cool. At least I got to see Howard while he was still active with Killswitch. But I was mainly there for Disturbed. And like I said, I don't know how I was able to power through, but I did. I was still moshing. I was still headbanging. I was running around. The only thing that kind of pissed me off was someone was crowd surfing and they fucking kneed me in the back of my head, and I clinged down on my teeth. I hate that. And then you just get like that fucking like
Ooh,
that high,
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? That ringing in your head. Oh, dude, I was so pissed. I wanted to beat this fucking dude's
I think
ass.
I got hit by the fucking crowd surfing too.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
Oh
So
my gosh, shit.
yeah, so then Disturbed comes out, of course, puts up a badass show. There was this dope ass part where they're playing Down with the Sickness, and in the middle of the crowd they have this tower that rises up, and David's on top of it singing fucking Down with the Sickness while it's like all golded up. Man, I wish I still had that.
Yeah.
I wish I had the SD card because I had photos of it, but those are long
I
gone.
was
I-
up
shit
there.
was
I was
sick.
singing.
That shit was sick.
He's like, I stole the show. It was fucking phenomenal.
And then I got all these chicks and
Dude, that show was so much fun. And
oh, that was a good time.
they played Remember, which was the first time they played since their first tour, acoustic. So it was amazing to see that. They played The Night, which
yeah.
was one of my favorite Disturbed songs. Like I said, I'm so glad these guys convinced me to stay because I was literally just going to go home. We wound up actually meeting up with some other friends there too in the pit. It was, I don't remember what the, Cochise and fucking Jeff, they were there. And we just so randomly found them in a pit.
So
and,
random.
and we all
Those
fucking,
guys, that's so random.
yeah, it's so random, dude. And then we all just, again, me, Matt, and him, we all potted up because Nick was back with the Twins at that point. And me and Matt were further up in the crowd because we want to get as close to the stage as we could, and we go wherever the pits were. So, and we met up with those guys because I mean, as contrary to belief, Dave, they actually go out there and they have a lot of fun with concerts. We usually, me and Matt used to always meet up with them at shows because they just knew how to have fun at shows. It was a lot of cool. Yeah, that one was definitely one to remember. Like I said, it was the first time I almost quit on a concert just because I was just feeling like shit. At the end of the night, I don't even know how I got through it, but as soon as I got home, my head was pounding. I felt like something was just fucking gonna explode at that point. So,
Right.
yeah.
I've had that before.
But at least I got through
Usually
it,
from
and
all
I'm
day
glad I did
festivals.
because I would have kicked myself in the ass so hard for not going to that concert if at this point, you know. Um, yeah, and then damn, it's crazy how long ago it is that now I think about that. I've been through so many
Right.
concerts in high school. It's just crazy. Like I can remember all of them in like the most outmost detail. Like I can even go in depth with that show if I really wanted to. But that's just what these concerts do to me. They trigger this inner demon, if you want to call it, and just I end up just fucking going astro mode, and that whole experience just becomes like a part of me. It's crazy. And speaking
There's
of
nothing wrong with that
experiences
at
that
all.
became a part of me, um, was me and Dave see you on the other side tour, and this show it was us with those two other friends, like I said. And the funny thing is, me and Dave were smart. We got the fucking pit tickets. The other idiots bought seat tickets thinking they were going to sneak into pit. Well, they
That
tried
didn't work
it.
out.
They failed horribly. But however, they did get on there, and I'll explain that here in a second. So we get there, and the shitty part is we got there at the end of 10 years set list. Because again, these damn bands, or I wouldn't even call it the bands, probably the venues. They will say doors open at a certain hour, and then they open either an hour early or an hour later. So it's like they're never consistent. So you just kind of have to be there at the right time. So we get
Right.
there, and 10 years is literally finishing up their set list. So we didn't really get to watch them that much, just a couple of songs. By the time we got on the floor, we're all just chilling. I run back, and I grab me a Mudvayne t-shirt, my first Mudvayne t-shirt. And I'm telling you, I wore this t-shirt religiously. I still have it in my closet. It's so fucking worn out though. But
Right.
yeah, it was 10 years Mudvayne and Corn. So we're all chilling. Like I said, Matt and them couldn't get on the floor, so we would go meet up with them outside while we're like shopping for merch. So I go and grab me a Mudvayne t-shirt because I want to have a Mudvayne tee while they come out. And then what was it? We go back into the pit. It's literally just me and Dave on the floor because we don't have any other friends there. And we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And then finally Mudvayne is getting ready to come out. They're playing that symphony orchestra song. It's the same one from the Jackass movie, the first one, where they're like riding the shopping cart. Whatever song that's
I
called.
can't think of the name of
Yeah,
it.
I can't think of it either, but that's their intro pretty much. They're playing that, but it was so trippy. Do you remember this, Dave? Where it was such a trippy intro where it would show like the lights come on, but the stage would be blacked out, and then when they would go blacked out in the arena, you could see the stage lights go up, so there's no one there, and it kept doing that, and then it would be in sync with the song, and at the part where it's like you hear all the like the drums and shit going off, it would start flashing lights. You still couldn't see the band, and then a snap of a finger, the band was on there. Like it was almost like an optical illusion. It was crazy. Boom, Mudvayne's on there. They're playing Determined. I literally, the first thing I fucking do is I jump straight in the pit with these gigantic fucking 8-foot monster, gigantic looking metalheads, dude. That shit was intense. I felt bad because I left Dave behind me, but I jumped straight in that shit because I thought they were playing Dig at first, but they were playing Determined. They're sitting there going ape shit, dude. It was so crazy. They played Determined. After that, I jump out of the pit. I meet back up with Dave, and then they start playing. They played Pushing Through, and then they played the -1, and then after they start playing more of the heavier shit. So like I was in and out of the pit all night long, and finally we get to a moment where they play Death Blooms, and that
Oh,
one was
shit.
such a rowdy mosh pit. And the crazy thing is when I talk to Matt later, he tells me, dude, that was probably one of the crazy things I saw because he was still in the stands at this point, and he's looking down and he says there's literally at the time that Death Bloom kicks in, 4 giant pits open up, 4 giant big ass mosh pits open up during that song, and he's in his mind it was like one of the most beautiful things he saw. We're sitting there doing our thing, and
It's beautiful.
the funny thing is, so that goes through, Then we get to Happy, and at that point, I'm already kind of like running on fumes at that point because I've been moshing during Mudvayne the whole damn time.
You know what would have been sick? Is if they would have led from Death Blooms into, or no, they should have played Dig and then led into Death Blooms like it does on the album.
Well, the problem is Dig is they like to end with Dig, so I'm getting to Dig here in a second. So they play the the big three. Honestly, is actually Dig, Happy, and Not Falling. So after Happy, then they play Not Falling. So there I am jumping back in the pit for Not Falling, and that was probably the rowdiest I ever gotten at that time. Like I was just like I was not gonna let anyone fucking bully me around during that song. At that point, my body is not used to me doing all this stuff. So when they play Dig, here's the crazy shit. By that time, I lost David, and right after they kick into Dig, I'm moshing and I blacked out.
Ooh.
Literally, it was the weirdest thing. So I'm sitting there moving around, and then I look up the stage, and the last thing I remember is seeing Chad screaming, and then all of a sudden just black.
Nothing.
Black. And at the end,
Oof.
then I guess I was still moshing because David see me in the pit, and all of a sudden my vision came back, and it was right at the end where he's like, "Let me help you hold the gun against your head," like that. You know that part where he kicks into the chorus.
Right.
And I was like, "What the fuck?" And I'm still moving. I'm like so discombobulated. I'm like, "What the fuck just happened? I just missed the whole song."
Your body just continued.
Yeah. So I jumped out,
Muscle memory.
and then I jumped out, and I see Corey there. I was like, "Corey, what the fuck you doing here, dude?" And he's all, "Dude, the craziest thing just happened." So how they kept us separated from the pit and from the seats is you had to actually walk down the tunnel, and then there's this big old gate, okay, and then they have this like little opening right here, and you walk through, you show them your ticket, and they give you a little wristband. Right. During Dig, the entire crowd from the stands broke through that fucking gate and rushed into the damn floor. I was wondering why there were so many people on the floor all of a sudden, because I remember looking back, I was like, "What the fuck?" And Corey's like, "Dude, yeah, that happened, bro. We all rushed in there, and they couldn't stop us. Security said, fuck that." So they were able to actually end up getting on the floor after all, once everyone kind of rioted to get onto the floor. It was wild. I'm still sitting there chilling, and I asked Dave, I was like, "Dude, did you watch me in that pit?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, you're kicking some ass." I was like, "Dude, I blacked out half that time." He's like, "No, you didn't. No, you're not. No way." I was like, "Dude, I swear," it was like all of a sudden just everything went fucking black, and I was just done, dude. It was insane. That shit was so insane. So we said fuck it, we went to go get a breather, and then we went to go buy some more merch. So me and Dave, we bought some matching See You on the Side tours, and then we bought this corn necklace, and it's a key, and it's because that was their main logo during the See You on the Side tour. It's like this little unlockable key thing, and we both bought that necklace, and we were so proud of it. And yeah, it was crazy because I think me and Dave bought the last two that were there, and then after that we went straight back into the crowd and made our way. Now we were probably about half center stage to where the stage was at, and once Korn came out, dude, we tried so hard. Remember that day we even hooked arms to try and stay together. All four of us tried that, and dude, yeah, they still split us up somehow. So I'm split from them, and I'm literally riding my way up to the front of the stage. There's like two people in front of me while Jonathan Davis is sitting there singing. It was so hot though, I almost passed out again. I'm like sitting there like, oh shit. So finally I was like, I gotta get going. So I make my way back. I go towards the pit because honestly the pit's probably one of the easiest ways to get breathing room because it's so open and you can stand at the edges. Right. You have a chance to get a breather in. So I'm sitting there, and then I see Corey sitting there, oh yeah, just like getting into it. I'm like, dude, he's all, dude, we found each other again. I was like, yeah, where the fuck's Matt and Dave? He's all, dude, I don't even know. They're back there somewhere.
They're gone.
Apparently Dave was crowd surfing and Matt was just being Matt somewhere.
Matt was being Matt.
And then finally we sync back up just in time. I finally found Dave, and me, him, and Corey together, and we're sitting there chilling, and Dave loses his fucking mind. Now, granted, I'm sitting there like huffing and puffing, so my face is looking at the ground, so I don't know what was going on. Dave was losing his shit. So when Korn was performing, they had this giant like fucking curtain behind them. I thought it was a weird stage setup, but yeah, there's like two curtains. There was two side curtains and then one big giant curtain from the back. Those open up, and four more band members start playing. There's a dude on a second drum set that's like a giant like orchestra looking drum set. Then you had a second guitarist there because at this time Brian Head Welch had left Korn, so they only had one guitarist, but another one was there. Then they had another guy, I think, on percussions, and they were all just like the animals from the See You on the Other Side album. So like you had a bunny, a horse. What was the other ones, Dave? There was a bunny, horse. Was there? Was there a
Rabbit.
goat?
I've got a signed
A
copy
rabbit.
of that goddamn album somewhere.
Yeah. There was the rabbit, the horse. I think there was a goat, and there was someone else.
I remember the horse too. Yeah.
Yeah, they were all dressed up in fancy suits with those masks on, and Dave went ballistic, especially for the rabbit. And they kept playing. Like it was such a fucking awesome experience. That show is easily in my top 5 favorite concerts of all time. So much happened there. So much went down. And like I said, it's one of those rare ones where I got to go with all my friends, and we just had such a blast doing it. And that was a unique experience because you never thought Korn was gonna have like it almost looked like Korn as Slipknot almost in a sense, because there was 8 members up there. They had all this equipment. Some of them were dressed up, and they just put up a fucking phenomenal show that I will never get out of my brain. Now for me, Mudvayne stole the show, but that's just because I'm a Mudhead. They played such a badass set list and had such a crazy set list that it was just so much fun for me. And
Alright. Makes sense.
it was so funny too because we went to the school the next day, and me and him wore the same shirt. He's like, "You fucking copied me." I'm like, "Fuck you! You knew I was wearing this shit." No, you're supposed to wear your Mudvayne. I was like, "That thing's dirty."
That thing's dirty.
But yeah, that tour was magical. It was so much fun, and at the end of the night, I didn't even want it to end. Of course, it was another one of those shows. I just did not want it to end. Mudvayne's set list, even though they did play a lot of songs, I mean, they played quite a bit of songs. I still didn't want them to leave. I was just having so much fun with them.
Right. I understand.
Yeah, it was crazy. Reliving those memories and just remembering the environment and the electricity you felt in the air, especially when you're hearing your favorite artist play your favorite songs with your favorite people at the time. And
Right.
yeah, I mean, Dave, do you remember much from that concert? Like, do you remember what you were doing that whole time? Like, we were split off because like I said, I know there's a good chunk where me and you weren't even together.
No, I remember 10 years. I remember Korn, and I just remember fucking Mudvayne being dressed like clowns.
Yeah, Mudvayne has a habit of, if you guys never seen Mudvayne, they like to dress up as random shit. Like, you'll see Chad Gray jump on there with a bloody face, wearing a gorilla suit while swinging a baseball bat. He does weird shit all the time.
That actually happened.
Yeah, that was Ozfest 05. He did that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The one I didn't go to.
yeah, that was the first
I missed
Ozfest
out
I
on
actually
that one.
went to. That was actually
out
my
on that
first
one.
metal show. Yeah, that was my first metal show. That was like my fucking birthplace because like I got to see my favorite new band, Mudvayne, headline with my favorite old band, which was Black Sabbath. And now we're not just talking random Black Sabbath. We're talking the original lineup. All 4 original members of Black Sabbath were there. Let me tell you this. Watching that lineup was literally the definition of magic. There has never been a similar feeling with any other band. That no one's been able to replicate that feeling like seeing Black Sabbath for the first time live.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Nothing. No one can touch it. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry.
No, I'm not sorry.
Um,
You don't need to be sorry. No need.
just check something real quick. You know, I think for now, since we're just getting back into the flow of things, I think this is a good time to kind of, end the podcast at this moment. I definitely can't wait to hear more. Especially, I was trying to get some other guys in here to try and talk more about the experiences, but of course they were tied up. And we'll talk more about our other experiences. Because like I said, I have so many shows and crazy shit that happened that you guys, I think, will get a kick out of it. On our next one, we'll definitely touch base. Like Dave, I mean, we got to definitely talk about Ozfest 06. The very pinnacle
06, yes.
of mine and Dave's like metalhood at that time, especially with our friends, because these were the same friends we kept used to go to. That was the first show we all went to together, and that was like after that we just stuck with the same crew for the long time. But that show, I mean, we literally went there from open to close. We were there from 9:30 a.m. to 12 o'clock a.m. start to finish. All of us were, and it was the 4th of July. It was a wild show, and that definitely
was a wild fucking show.
Definitely a show worth talking about on another podcast, and I'll definitely bring that up more. And I'll even go more in depth on the next one for the Mudvayne show to celebrate that Mudvayne's returning. The last one that me and Dave went to together, and as beautiful as that concert was, it was very sad because that was the last time we got to see Mudvayne. And if I would have known that was the last time I was going to see them, I probably would have been a lot more emotional than I was. That night I was just more like just fired up from seeing them. But it's like, it's different when you know it's a band's final show or they're not going to be around for a long time. It hits you a little different.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially like I said, when I went with my friend Chala to Slayer, we went to the final tour, and that was probably one of the most emotional concerts I had to be a part of, because it was Slayer was another one of those foundation bands for me and the guys, because we used to do all kinds of crazy shit listening to Slayer. I mean, fuck, I went through a fucking window. Remember that, Dave? When I went through a fucking window?
Yeah.
At one of our friends' house, because we're listening to Slayer, and it hit me really hard to see this band tip their hat and get ready to call it quits, and especially a band that was there from high school that made me into a huge metalhead. There were tears in my eyes. I couldn't believe it was happening. So I'm pretty sure I would have that same similar experience with Mudvayne. Probably gonna have it again with Mudvayne, seeing them back, because these bands have done a lot for me growing up, and even as I'm an adult now, they do a lot more for me than most people give credit to music for. And it's never going to change. It's always going to be a part of my life. I'm a huge music guy. So, like I said, it was these concerts are very emotional when you go to them. I mean, at least for me, when I get there, I feel the electricity. I feel energized. There's been times I remember seeing Slipknot, and I started bawling at one point because of all the shit that was going on in my life. And here I was finally seeing my favorite band perform that I had been trying to see for years to perform. So it's like,
understandable.
I think that's why these concerts will stick to me, and why I remember every bit of every moment when I'm at these shows. I've had some shitty shows, I've had some badass shows, but I remember all of them. So like I said, the whole point of this is that I have a lot to talk about, and I can't wait to share with you guys, especially with my friends being in it. And I can't wait to hear what their experiences were, and hearing and seeing things on their side of you, because you don't get to hear that very often. So,
right, that's definitely true.
Yeah. So yeah, on the next one, we'll get more in detail, talk more in depth, and share more experiences with you guys, and hopefully y'all will enjoy it.
All right.
So
sounds good.
Right on a podcast.
Yep, we'll call that in that podcast. So, all right, guys. Well, enjoy. We'll catch you on the next one.